What's up, Steeler Nation? What's happening, baby? What's good with y'all, man? I told you I would come do a little quick video, little quick stream, man, to announce the third round pick or second round pick. You know, some thought the Steelers might move up the ladder and try to jump into the second round. Did not happen. They stayed and they picked, right? So at the 83rd pick, they were on the clock, and by now you guys know you should know that they drafted Kaleb Johnson out of Iowa. Now, very interesting, man. You've heard myself talk about him, Kenyon as well. We even talked about him last night. I have no problem with the pick as far as the player, but we're going to get into the elephant in the room here in just a moment. But I have no problem with the player, Kaleb Johnson. Not at all. You know, guy's big, fast enough, seems to have breakaway speed, even though, you know, I don't think he ran such a super high 40. Let me check his 40 time, but, you know, the tape don't lie. This guy had plenty of plus 20-yard runs. He is a zone blocking type of runner. He's going to fit the scheme. You know, the Steelers, and I will even say the Tomlin era, likes their big backs. This guy to me, is not the traditional big back that the Steelers have had. Definitely has good feet, you know, good vision. You know, he's kind of a one-cut guy, you know, similar to Jaylen Warren. So now you're going to get a 1-2 punch of, you know, similar style, if you will, but, different backs, but very similar style. So that downhill running with quickness, you know, and again, you're going to use Kaleb Johnson as your bigger back. But hold on, let me see if I can get a 40 time on him, guys. And then we'll talk about the elephant in the room, man. We'll talk about the elephant in the room, and then I'll get you guys' thoughts and comments on the pick as well. No, he ran a 4.5, 4.57. Let me tell you something, man. For you guys that may or may not know, from a sports standpoint, 4.5, yeah, 4.5 can run. Now, I see some people saying, Steeler Lee says Najee 2.0. I would like you to explain the standpoint that you're saying that. Are you saying that as a slight, as a repeat of Najee, or are you saying this guy could be a better Najee Harris? So I just want you to explain what you're saying there so I could properly respond to you. But let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's say what's up to some of you guys here in the chat, man. Kev, so fun, Steeler Cards, Lumberzack 94. David McLeod, my good brother Kenyon in the building, my other good brother Tony in the building, Daredevil, Wide Diggy, Ali Howard. Who else is up in here tonight with me, man? Eric McDuffie. What's going on to all of my faithfuls, man? Brent Fox, what's going on, Brent? Gully Green as well, Steeler Lee. Big Dro is in the building. James Webb and Derpy Entertainment. All right. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room, guys. I know some of y'all are waiting for me to do it, so here it is. Shadour Sanders is still on the board. Shadour Sanders has not been picked by anyone. The Las Vegas Raiders passed on him as well. We'll see if by chance, and actually, let me pull it up. We'll see if the Raiders takes him here later in the third as it comes to a close. Let me pull it up here on my phone. And I got a few comments about it, man. Some comments you may agree with, some you may not, but y'all know me. I'm going to speak my mind and be open, honest, and fair. Let's see. Saints are currently on the board. You have the Saints, Browns, Patriots, Eagles, Vikings, then Raiders. Raiders twice. The Raiders twice. And it's going to be interesting if the Raiders don't take him as well. It's going to be very interesting because what I think is really going to happen, guys, the way it's going, Shadour might be sitting there in the 4th round, but I'm going to give you some thoughts here in a moment. Listen, let me get this part out of the way. I think Shadour is getting a bad shake, man. Especially when the Saints drafted Tyler Shuck over Shadour Sanders. Let me explain what I mean by that. Some of you guys may say, well, I like Tyler more than Shadour. Tyler Shuck is your prototypical, quarterback, I'll say of the modern day era. When I say that, I mean like from the 2010s on up. Now you're starting to get guys who are not quite as big. You're getting more of those, athletic guys now. You just think about a few. You think about your Lamar Jacksons, your Jalen Hurts, your CJ Strouds of the world. The bigger 6'5" type guy is even athletic, like a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes. I think Mahomes is like 6'3", more of an athletic, but Tyler Shuck is really the prototypical. I think he's 6'4", 6'5", 2+, stand in the pocket type of guy, has some sneaky athleticism, but, if it wasn't for his age and if it wasn't for his injury history, some might say that, okay, this guy could be in the conversation as being one of the tops. However, if I had to compare him to Shadour Sanders, I don't see where you're running away with Tyler Shuck over Shadour. You guys have heard me give my opinion on Shadour. I think Shadour is a solid quarterback, man. I think Shadour will mature even more and become a really good quarterback in the NFL because of his style of play, right? For those quarterbacks who still play like him, stand in the pocket, tough, willing to stand in there and take a shot, goes through progressions, accurate enough, right? Shadour is pretty accurate, right? Subtle movements in the pocket, smart, poised, clutch gene. Like we've seen all of that in his college career. I understand some people are not going to give him props and credit for Jackson State, but okay, take that off the board and look what he did at Colorado, with what he had to play with. Yeah, he had stud receivers, including one Travis Hunter, but that offensive line, man, was never a favorite. Their run game never could really get going. He's passing the ball 35 to 40 to 50 times a game, right? And he performed. So I think Shadour is getting judged very, very unfairly, man, across the NFL. And let's be honest, I know people are going to keep saying, oh, 32 teams passed. No. 32 teams have not passed on him. There's only about 5, maybe 6 teams who were really in the quarterback market. So those teams have passed on him. Cleveland hasn't done anything at quarterback, right? They had opportunities to do it in the second. They did not. Vegas hasn't done anything. We'll see what they do in these next couple picks. The Steelers didn't take a running quarterback yet. The Giants got their quarterback. You see what I'm saying? He's running out of options, guys, because let me tell you, again, just right now, here come the Browns right now. Let's see what they do. They're on the clock. Wait, did y'all say Jalen Milroe got picked? Who picked Milroe? Oh, I see it. The Seahawks took Jalen Milroe. Wow. Okay, so this has just changed the stream a little bit. I got questions. Let's see who the Browns take, man. Jalen Milroe went to the Seahawks behind Sam Darnold. Wow. So Who is this? Ezekiel. Nobody's whining. So you're definitely not talking to me. Maybe you're talking to somebody else. I'm just making a case for a quarterback, right? Again, Tyler Shuck and Jalen Milroe have gone before Shadour Sanders. The way this is going, I could see Will Howard going before Tyler Shuck. I would have taken Howard over him. So it's always interesting, man, to see how these NFL teams evaluate players. And that's why I don't get in my feelings. I don't get emotional like some of you guys. Oh, why didn't they pick? You know, I had fun with it with the Kenny Pickett story because I wanted Malik Willis back then. But y'all saw live on stream 10 minutes after the pick, I said, all right, we got to get behind this kid. It's all in jest. Some of you guys really hate some of these players in terms of he sucks and da-da-da, da-da. You never know how these NFL GMs and organizations are judging these players. Like I said, looking at the quarterbacks who've gone, I would have taken Will Howard over Tyler Shuck. Just my personal opinion. But man, I was planning to tell you guys that I think the Steelers are going to draft Jalen Milroe. That's what I wanted to say because Art Rooney not too long ago said, hey, if we take a quarterback, he's not going to really do much for us this year. It'll be more of a developmental thing. Maybe gets to play a little bit down the road in the season, but it wouldn't be the guy this year. So to me, that sounded like Jalen Milroe. And maybe that's who they were thinking, but Seattle jumped out there and took him. So that's what I was going to say. I planned to come on this show and say, look, Steelers are going to draft Jalen Milroe. He's going to be there in the 4th round, but obviously he was not. He's not there. He has been drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. So very interesting. So guys, I don't know how this is going to play out. Like I said, this video really was to focus on Kaleb Johnson. I like the pick. I'm going to come to the chat in a moment to see how you guys feel. Wait a minute. Let's see. Did somebody else go? Did somebody else go? Let me see. I just saw y'all say something in the chat. The Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. Hold on. Y'all got to give me a moment to laugh, man. Let me tell y'all something. The Browns gonna brown. The Browns are gonna brown. Y'all took Dylan Gabriel. Listen, no disrespect to Gabriel, but fam, are we serious? Are we serious? Y'all had opportunities to take every quarterback basically except for Cam Ward. Dylan Gabriel from Oregon, Debbie. Listen, you know, he's a tough guy. You know, he plays with heart, but I did not have him going before. Listen, I don't know what's happening with Shadour Sanders, man. I don't want to speculate. I'm just going to say what it looks like. It looks like it's some type of collusion, bruh. I'm just going to say it. It looks like the NFL could be saying, all right, I don't want to say that because I don't know that to be fact. So I don't want to be one of those people that fall into those traps. But it looked crazy because you're not going to tell me that Shadour Sanders could. Listen, I'm just speaking from NFL team. You're not telling me that Shadour Sanders could not have been drafted before Tyler Shuck or Dylan Gabriel. Stop. Stop it. Yeah, that's my personal opinion, but I'm going to strongly stand on that. Come on. You want to give me Jackson Dart? I'm not going to beef about that. I told y'all, I like Jackson Dart for the Steelers more than I like Shadour for the Steelers because Shadour, to me, doesn't fit the Steelers scheme. That's it. Other than that, if we ran an offense that I thought Shadour would thrive in, I would have said draft him. Wow. Let's see what the Raiders do. I'm gonna tell you, man, if the Raiders don't pick him, Pittsburgh might pick him. Steelers might mess around and get him in the 4th round. But anyway, again, all you got to do is wait and time will tell, man. Last night, some of y'all were losing y'all everlasting minds that the Steelers did not take him at 21. And look at all of these teams who have not taken him. So there's something going on, whether there's some type of, I'm going to throw all the narratives out there, whether he really did have bad meetings, whether there's a conspiracy from the NFL, whatever the case may be, all of these teams are in lockstep. So y'all can sit there and say how stupid the Steelers are all you want. Clearly there's something going on. So, but all right, man, let's get to it. Again, I am cool with the pick. I am absolutely cool with Kaleb Johnson. You guys know that. I talked about him just last night. I talked about him a few weeks ago. I like that kid. The funny thing is he don't even have to change uniforms as far as colors. Big, strong, none of that tiptoe stuff. Zone scheme runner. What I will need to go back and watch, because I think I had a little question about pass pro. I think that was Johnson, or that might have been Henderson. One of those guys I scouted, I was watching. I can't remember who it is, so I'm going to go rewatch Kaleb Johnson again. I know what he can do as far as his run, but now I'm going to really hone in on pass pro, because that's what's really going to matter. That's one thing that Jaylen Warren does very well. That's one thing Le'Veon Bell did very well. That's one thing Najee Harris got better at. So it's the little things that I'm going to look at now, not just him carrying the ball. What else can he offer? So now that he has been drafted, I will be honing in on that skill. And outside of that, I have zero problem with that pick. You guys know, again, in the current Steelers, the Tomlin era, they like their big backs. This guy clearly fits the mold all the way around, from scheme fit to size to even big playability, because once he gets through that second level, he's out a lot of times. I'm not mad at that at all. But what you guys got, man? Anything y'all want to say? I'll spend about 4 or 5 minutes in here chopping it up. Let me go back a little bit, because I know there's some comments going on up in here. Quan06 says y'all should have gotten Shadour Sanders. Okay. What else y'all got? What else, Shadour? I ain't seen Shadour in a long time, man. What's going on, Shadour? Always good to see and hear from you. She says, I thought it was Milroe. I did. I was telling my wife, I said, look, regardless of who you think is the better quarterback, after what Art Rooney II said, I was like, they're going to draft Milroe. They might do it right here in the 3rd. This would be a good time to do it. That's what we said from the beginning, right? We said if they reached, it might have been Milroe, but we said the perfect landing spot for Milroe is anywhere from 3rd and beyond. So I thought it might have been him. Nope, no Milroe, no Shadour, and Milroe is now off the board. So let me tell you something. Omar Khan said they will be going to camp with 4 quarterbacks. One of those guys will be drafted, whether it is maybe Shadour Sanders in the 4th round. Is it McCord? Is it Will Howard? Is it, what's the kid's name? Riley Leonard? I mean, there's still quarterback. Is it Uwer? Somebody. I'm just saying. They're going to draft one of them dudes, but clearly, they're just not. Yeah. Oh, y'all saying Ezekiel is being disrespectful. Okay, let me keep an eye on what he's doing, because if you act too crazy, I have no problem with getting you up out of here. What else y'all got? Kev So Fun says, Kenya was right. Day 3 is a lot of action. Yeah, it will be. DC TV says the NFL really wants to hand the Steelers Sanders, and we ain't going. Yeah, nobody's taking the bait. James Webb says, I think something is going on behind the scenes. Yeah, I do too, man. It's just a little crazy. Again, I'm not trying to come up with a conspiracy, people. I'm just saying, when you look at the quarterbacks, again, now that Gabriel, but, you know, if the Browns love them, but I'm saying, come on, man. There's something here. It's more than just whether or not he has talent.
Donation.
We got Wonder Bread. Dirty. Appreciate that, man. Round of applause for the Wonder Bread. We got Wonder Bread as well from Claude Bishop. Round of applause to you also. I fully agree with you, man. He says Steelers fans got to stop. They calling him Najee 2.0 because he's big and has dreads. Yeah, they come on, man. This guy probably has more explosive runs than we have seen in Najee's 4-year career with the Steelers. And listen, I have no disrespect for Najee Harris. I defended Najee Harris quite often, but I'm just saying the facts are the facts. Claude Bishop says, I believe his dad cost him the fall. Yeah. And, you know, again, I don't think that shouldn't mean anything, man. You understand what I'm saying? Unless the Raiders take them, the Raiders are back-to-back on the clock. We'll see. Let me continue to read some comments. Debbie said, what's up, CT Pittman? I was looking for you last night. Okay, she's talking to CT. Okay. Ezekiel says, Sanders is the best QB in his class. Some people say that. Mike says, Milroe would be interesting, but will he be there? Nope, he is gone. Seattle snagged him. Snatched him right on up. The Whippled says, could all the some teams like my personality? What? I'm gonna read this like you wrote it. He says, could all the some teams, maybe he said same teams, like my personality, some don't hurt him. I don't know what you're saying, man. I think we missing a couple words there, brother. What up, Sloth? Sloth says, the Browns are funny. Yeah, the Browns, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the Browns doing. I don't know what the Browns are doing, bro. Where do you have Kaleb Johnson ranked? It's hard for me to rank running backs, man, or players in general, because I'm the type of person, man, that I'll use another analogy. You know, people like to compare rappers and stuff all the time. I don't do that. You know, I have my favorites for different reasons. So even with sports, it's certain things that I look for in a running back. Where would I rank Kaleb Johnson in terms of the style of offense the Steelers run? He might be the best one. Who did I like a lot? I really liked Henderson. I was really big on Henderson, and some people disagree with me, but I liked Henderson more than Judkins. I did, just because of the games that I watched. I watched 4 games on them, and Henderson just had more memorable things. His style, I like Judkins as well, but I would have taken Henderson over him. So it's cool to see both of those guys go. I like Tootin because of his breakaway speed. Became a fan of Giddens, DJ Giddens, watching Colorado. My God, what a game he had against them. But yeah, man, I think Kaleb Johnson, to me, is the best running back in this class that fits the Steelers scheme. So that's where I have him, not necessarily rating him or comparing him to others. What else y'all got? Gravy Train says Sanders is the best quarterback in the draft, hands down. Okay. Desmond says Sanders is an average quarterback at best. He has no unique characteristics, average size, average speed, average arm strength. He's accurate, but not very decisive and takes a lot of sacks. Yeah, some of the sacks, man, you can't really put that on him, but I know what you're saying. He does hold on to the ball a little bit, but he wasn't going to have any choice but to take sacks behind that Colorado offensive line. But I see where you're going with that. What's up, Mark? Mark says, Sim, he looks a little bit like, I don't even want to say it, L. Bell with speed. I see where you're going, Mark. what he doesn't have is he definitely doesn't have Le'Veon's feet. Le'Veon was special, man. Them feet, just his stop and go and just his quickness, his shiftiness. Yeah, he ain't got that, but I understand what you're saying. Let's see. What else y'all got? Omar said he's taking 4 quarterbacks into camp. Yeah, that's why I said somebody gonna get drafted. Somebody will be drafted. I just don't know who it is. Yo, someone just drafted the Oregon quarterback. Yeah, Mark. The Browns. The Browns drafted him. Astro says, how do you feel about our picks so far? And thoughts on Shadour's slide is unbelievable. Yeah, I don't have an issue with our picks, man. I think Harmon has the potential to be special. Strong, good speed to power type of guy. I didn't notice because I didn't watch a bunch of his games, but I've heard reports saying that he had some issues with missed tackles. But he definitely has, outstanding pass rush capability. I think he led the league last year in pressures, and had about, I think, 6 sacks as a D tackle. So that's not bad. But when you look at him, I've watched so far 2 games. I'm going to watch some more because I remember watching him when I was watching the Ohio State running backs. So I watched that game. He had a nice strip of the ball on Henderson, or was it Judkins? I can't remember which one of them he stripped, but he basically took the ball out of their hand. But I love that pick. He was definitely ranked one of the top defensive linemen, so we need help there with an aging Cam Hayward. I just think about having Cam Hayward mentor him and Benton. I think about him and Benton, spelling Hayward like that youth and how they would feed off of each other. So I'm ecstatic about that pick. And prayers to that brother, man. His mom passed away like right after he was able to get to the hospital. So, unfortunately, I know how that feels. Fortunate enough, I wasn't at his age when it happened to me, but tough situation right there, man. So throw a prayer up for him. And yeah, I love Kaleb Johnson. I love that pick. I have nothing bad to say about that. What else we got, guys? Let's get further down in the chat. Let's see. Epilepsy says, Sim, would you take him in the 4th? I would. So here's the thing. At this point, hold on, let me see. The Raiders took a guard. Yo, they took a guard. Who did they take with the other pick? Is that one in yet? I would take him in the 4th round, man. Because like I said, I still don't believe Shadour fits our scheme, but in the 4th round, I mean, it don't hurt to just throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. It doesn't hurt because we do have a 4th, don't we? Let me make sure. Because, sometimes I don't always be knowing what picks we got. Do we have a 4th round pick? Yeah, we do. So, yes, I will take him in the 4th round if he's there. Why not? Again, Omar said he's going to go to camp with 4. So, all right, a few more minutes, guys. See what else y'all got. I guess we can wait to see what the Raiders do with this 2nd pick. Did they take Shadour? Somebody says, yup, Raiders got Shadour. Did they take him? CT Pittman says, CT Pittman said, yeah, but he said, oh, no, I was wrong. Okay, so they didn't take him. No, they didn't. They took 2 offensive linemen. Yo. Dog, what's happening? So, all right, let's count the ways, guys. Let's go to the 4th. Titans, Jaguars, Giants, Panthers, Jaguars, Raiders. They pick again at 108. Bears, Jets, Broncos, Saints, Panthers, Cardinals, Dolphins, Colts, Falcons, Bengals, Titans, Bucks, Panthers, and then the Steelers. So they have one more chance to grab him. Now, it'll be poetic justice that they mess around and grab him at 108. But I'm telling you, if Shadour Sanders is not drafted at 108, he will be sitting there at 123 And if he's sitting there, I would pull the trigger if I'm the Steelers at that point. Why not? Because you got to draft somebody anyway. But the Steelers are going to have their pick. They're going to have their pick. Because let me tell you who's there. Right? Shadour, McCord, Ewers, Riley Leonard, Will Howard. I'm not even going to read some of these other dudes because I don't know nothing about them. But let me just give you those names. Shadour Sanders, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Riley Leonard, and Will Howard. All of them will be in the 4th round. And if you're going to take one, you might as well take Shadour Sanders. So that's all I got for you guys. So let's keep an eye on pick 108, and we'll see what happens at 123. But outside of that, guys, if we do pick him, I won't be able to do a video until later tomorrow. My son has AAU tournaments in Delaware, games at 2 and at 4. So, you know, obviously I won't be home until later. But other than that, I will definitely jump on and I will talk about who we picked in the 4th round and whoever else. Let me see, what other picks do we have, y'all? Hold on. Let me see. We got a 4th. We have no 5th. Oh yeah, we do. We got an earlier. No, we don't. It's same time frame. We pick at 158 in the 5th. We pick at 185 in the 6th. And we pick at 229 in the 7th. All right, and there you have it. So yeah, if he's sitting there at 123, you go ahead and take him. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will definitely let my little man know that you wished him well. So hopefully he do his thing tomorrow. They got him playing point in this league. Doing all right so far. Their first tournament was last week. You know, he's learning how to facilitate because he's a natural 2. He's a natural 2. He loves to shoot and can shoot. You know, I'm not saying that just because he's my kid. He can shoot that thing. So he's a score first mentality, but now he's learning how to facilitate. So had some solid games last weekend, and he had 10 points in one game. Because, you know, it's just 5th grade, so they don't play extremely long. But he had 10 points, like 6 assists. Did his thing. But all right, guys, let's get out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all later. Y'all be well. Listen, it's the draft, man. You know, they're not always going to pick who you want. The thing is when the Steelers make selections, did they make good picks and evaluate it properly? Go take a look at these guys and evaluate for yourself, and that's all you could go off of. And we'll see what happens with one Shadour Sanders come tomorrow. All right, man. Catch y'all later. Be safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Thanks for tuning in. Like always, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.